Okay, give me one moment, kings and queens. Okay, I think we're live. Pretty sure. I clicked all the buttons. I got my uniform on. I got my streaming face going. I'm ready to go. Sad day. They said my mic stand was supposed to come in today, but it did not come in today. I mean, they still got time left, right? But I was hoping that I was going to be able to start this week off by showcasing my new mic, but damn, kings and queens, didn't really work. What about now? Or now? Or now? Or now? Infallible Foul, thank you for coming by. Wolf of Mandalore, bing bong, it sounded like you were at the mall. The mall? Oh, well, with my starting soon screen stuff. Caleb, the title. I try, so you may not know this, but on occasion, I try different titles for the different platforms I'm on just to see which one catches more. I know it's not great because it doesn't isolate the variable, right? But I like to see which one kind of draws the more eyes. And I like variety. And sometimes I can't think of I can't settle on what the best title is, so I'll just spread them out. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you guys like that title? Good title. The title, just so everyone knows, is Man Sets Himself on Fire to Free Palestine. Leftists will do anything but vote. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Or at least one of the things we're going to be talking about today. We got a few things to talk about today. Okay, so do I give my take now or do I wait for more people to struggle in? I usually don't start till 6, so we're a little early. I will say the issue is I don't like to speak ill of the dead. I don't want to talk bad about this guy. Okay. I'm sad he did what he did. But man, oh man, the discourse around this needs to be discussed. It needs to. Yeah, it's a lot. I get it. Voting is hard, gang. It's hard to vote. You gotta register. It's inconvenient. Sometimes you gotta wait in line for hours even. Sometimes it's raining. But I promise you, it's less of a hassle than setting yourself on fire. And it's more impactful. And we'll get more change done. And you may think, well, Wick, we're all talking about this guy. Are we? I woke up and the discourse was whether or not people should be using the phrase rest in power to describe this man. That was the discourse. Not about Palestine, not about what he set himself on fire about, but a bunch of leftists were woke scolding each other, right, over what phrase to use about his death. That's the discourse he inspired. And my God, if I had set myself on fire and I looked up from hell where I was burning to watch that be the discourse, I would be so mad, right? I would be so mad, okay? What is going on? What is going on? What are you doing? Like, every time I think, like, oh man, social media has a great ability to impact, right? And bring change about and things like this. And then I see something like this and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's bringing about an impact. It's bringing about change. But I don't know if it's the change we want, gang. I don't know if we're going in the direction that we need to go in here. Oh, God damn it. Okay, let's say hi a little bit more of you. Big bad booty daddy, hello. Conservative liberalism, hello. Welcome. Deuce Halcyon. Halcyon? How do you say it? Halcyon? I think it's Halcyon. Pretty sure it's Halcyon. Welcome. It's hard to go voting booth. Wow. Nerdy Rodent says, please don't burn yourself. This was a PSA. Yeah, don't. There is no upside to setting yourself on fire, right? Maybe if you're like covered in ants and being eaten alive or something, okay? Right? Maybe. But even then, just jump in a river or something. I don't know. Like anything else. Literally anything else. Caleb, nice to see you. Adam from Sitch and Adam had an interesting initial reaction. Compared it to guy who started Arab Spring. Wonders if Air Force guy had more of a connection than we know currently. Doubt it though. Yeah, I mean, look. I will say this. I'm trying to think how to phrase this because I want to be careful how I phrase things. I respect putting your money where your mouth is, right? Having the courage of your convictions to take a stand and act, right? Even though it will cost you. That said, you have to be at least a little smart about it. If you want to enact change, real change, don't set yourself on fire. The chances of that enacting or leading to real change is very, very low. Like extremely low. The change you will get is not the change you want. The change you will get is either you will die, as happened here, or you will survive with massive amounts of burn scars all over your body. That shit sucks. It's painful as hell. Okay? Would you make the same speech about the guy run over by a tank in Tiananmen Square? In that case, something was done to him. He didn't do it to himself. If he had drove the tank over himself, yes. There's a difference here. Again, context matters. There are times when one must be a martyr, right? Take a stand, even if it costs you your life. That happens, right? That is a thing that exists. But I don't want anyone to burn themselves for any reason. Please don't. No matter how great you think your cause is. Even a cause as righteous, right? That everyone agrees is righteous, that you believe in your very bones is the right thing to do, the right thing to advocate for. Don't burn yourself to death. Don't light yourself on fire. Don't do it. I am going to discourage this behavior because I don't want you to light yourself on fire. Now, look, I know he was in the Air Force. And look, we've all been there. I'm an Air Force veteran, okay? There were days. I get it. There were days. Anything to get out of work, right? No, but seriously, again, I think getting arrested for your beliefs, right? Going to jail for your beliefs can be commendable, right? Making a stand for justice is commendable. Even if I don't agree with what your justice is, right? Like it's way more commendable than the slacktivism people do where they just, I'm not going to go to work today to protest the genocide. Like, oh, so you get a day off. Cool, right? Yeah, I don't know, boys. I don't know, boys and girls. This one's tough. Looming, welcome. Are you still up? How'd your stream go? We're talking about the guy who set himself on fire. Come call in while you cook food. It's a call-in show, gang. Call in, talk to me. Let me give you the links, gang. So you click on this link, and you go into my Discord, and you accept the rules. Then you jump backstage, and then I pull you on, and then we talk. Right? We discuss things. I'm trying to think if there's ever a situation, right, where I would be like, okay, this is important enough where I need to sacrifice myself for it in a kind of, by self-immolating. Let's be clear, right? By literally setting myself on fire. Man, I can imagine, right, going and volunteering for a self-deletion mission or something. If I think that by completing that mission, even though I would die, I would save lives, right? I would get something done. There would be a tangible benefit, right? I can imagine that. I can think of scenarios where that would be the case, where I'd be like, okay, I understand. I know I'm giving my life, right? And I don't want to give my life, right? But I know it's the right thing to do in this situation. This ain't that. This isn't that. Can we also discuss how complicit in this man's death are some of the media influencers we have? How complicit? I don't know. I honestly don't. I'm torn on it. I don't think they are. Like, it's a question worth asking, but I don't think they are. I think that, like, to say that they'd be complicit in this man's death, it just doesn't track to me. I think that people make their own decisions, and yeah, you can influence people, but this isn't something where I think that, like, anyone should be held accountable for influencing this man to do this, because it's again, unless they're directly telling him to do it, right? Like, you need to go and light yourself on fire. I don't, yeah, just talking about how bad a situation is, no. Yeah, so, but it's worth discussing. It's worth thinking about. It's worth asking ourselves, because we do have influence, right, on people. We do. Social media drives discourse. It frames how we view the world. If you consume a lot of it, it does affect how you view the world, how you see things, how you see others, how you see the events, current events, past events, history, everything. In a very real way, social media is becoming more and more, for better and worse, the ocean in which people swim. It is all around them. It runs through them. It's how they live and breathe, right? It's how they move. So to act as if the people who are making waves have no influence on you is silly. It's just not true. It's just not correct. It's just not correct. That said, there is also something to be said about self-responsibility. Simply because things are being painted as terrible, right? If I'm being hyperbolic, or if I just really truly believe that things are this bad, it doesn't make me responsible for what certain people do in regards to that, in extremis, right? Like, the culpability just isn't there. It's not. Again, unless there's direct communication, unless I'm directly telling you, you need to go light yourself on fire, right? To stop the genocide in Palestine, right? There's no culpability. I don't think so. No moral culpability. Again, it's worth thinking about your influence, right? And how you indirectly can influence how what you put out to the world, the extreme effects it might have in certain niche scenarios. I think that's worth it's worth thinking about. It's worth discussing. It's worth as influencers, right? As small as I am, just considering before I put things out there. But to act as if this is culpability, it's just not true. It's just not true. It's just not the same. Now, keep in mind though, a lot of these people are saying, we'll use the word stochastic terrorism for anything, right? Like, oh, the school shooter did it because the social media influencers told him to, or influenced him to do so. Or, oh, this person called in a bomb threat because the social media influencers influenced him to do so. But they won't be saying that about this guy, right? They're right, of course, not to. But the hypocrisy, I think, is worth pointing out. It's worth highlighting, okay? How they will be so quick to say, well, of course, this person shot up this nightclub, right? Of course they did. Look what's being put out by Matt Walsh and these other influencers that we hate. Of course he did that. That's why. It directly influenced him. But this man sets himself on fire. Everyone's going to shut their mouths, okay? Everyone's going to shut their mouths. Suddenly they're going to pretend as if we have no influence, right? Or no one has any influence on your actions, okay? Oh, sad. It really is. It's disturbing. I am disturbed by this, okay? Oh, Cernus says liberals can't imagine any other form of sacrifice other than standing in line to vote. Man, look. Yes, it's way better than killing yourself. Voting is better than self-immolation. I'm going to take that brave stance right now. Voting is more effective and influential on politics in the geopolitical stage than setting yourself on fire. Yes, absolutely. You will have more impact as a human being by going to the polls on your vote on election day, right? Not just the every 4-year election day, but in your local elections, state elections. By voting in your elections, right, you will have more impact than the guy did by setting himself on fire. Because again, I want to repeat, the impact he's having is people are woke scolding each other over whether or not to use the phrase "rest in power" for this man. That's the impact he had. And a lot of people are making memes. Disrespectful, but it is what it is. My tweet was stupid. Which one? I tweet a lot. You gotta be more specific. Kane says, I don't know, Wick. If I die, then I don't have to worry about it anymore. Man, that's a sad way to say. That's a sad way to think. I would rather be alive and worry about it. But that's me. Wolf of Mandalore says, I respect someone who's willing to take a drastic step like healing themselves, but there is a better option. Like, again, the concept of it isn't it isn't entirely irrational, okay? The concept of a self-deletion mission, like, going and running and putting yourself in front of a bullet or something, to take a stand or to protect a life or these things, turning yourself in after committing a crime against the state, even though you know that punishment's going to be execution, because you feel so strongly, okay, I can buy it, I can get with it, I can go. But that's not what this was. Cerna says some people will do anything other than vote. It was a fucked up response. If you think that, that's fair. I mean, I thought about it, right? Like I considered, like, well, how do I want to handle this? What I decided on, because I saw so many other people I saw a lot of people memeing on it, and I saw a lot of people glorifying it. A lot of people glorified it. A ton of people glorified it. And I will say this, I think that the people who are glorifying this are doing something immoral. They're doing something that's evil. Strong word. I don't think they're evil necessarily, but they are committing an evil act by glorifying this man and what he did. We talk about influence and what influence we have. We talk about how people will, like, don't glorify suicide, gang. I'll say it this way. Don't glorify it. Stop romanticizing it. Stop it. I don't know. Are you mad at that? It's just how I feel. What I think will lead to the best outcomes is if we don't glorify self-harm. Don't romanticize it. Don't call it based. Don't cheer it on. Much like we handle school shooters, we shouldn't be spreading their name or showing their face. We don't want to encourage this behavior. 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙𝖘𝖍𝖔𝖜 says he wasn't suicidal. Look into his history. Fair. America is very, very much involved in the funding and outcome. I'm assuming of Israel, Palestine. $5 from Firechild says, is it weird I feel differently about the monk who self-immolated? No, it's not. As I understand it, the monk who self-immolated was he not from the region that was being affected? Like, as far as I understand, this man was not. Also, this was before the days of social media. I don't glorify what the monk did, to be clear. I think that was also dumb. I think that he should not have done that. I think we remember it, yes, because it was shocking, but I don't think it was effective. Thank you for the $5, though. Caleb says, no, the monk, the guy who started Arab Spring 2, were sacrificing for a just cause. Again, sacrificing for sacrifice's sake isn't what matters, right? If you're going to make a sacrifice, make it count. Make it matter. Or at least create a situation where it has the best chance of mattering. The best chance of being effective. 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙𝖘𝖍𝖔𝖜 for $8 Australian. Glorify donating. Yes, glorify donating. Again, no shade on this guy, okay? I want to be clear. This guy, I don't feel ill will towards this guy. I don't think ill of him, but I won't glorify him either. I won't make him into a hero or anything. Or a martyr. I want to discourage that behavior. So he should have put on a vest and blown up the embassy? No. What do you think the effect would be of blowing up the Israeli embassy? Do you think it would lead to Palestine being more free or less? You kill a bunch of people. Cool. Right? Testicle Johnson, this is Collins. Gang. I said make it matter. So, what I mean by make it matter. Okay? So, let me explain this before, come backstage if you'd like, Testicle Johnson. Let me explain make it matter, though. So, if I were to... I'm given a mission, right? I'm saying, you need to do this to take out this oil refinery, okay? This oil refinery's doing a bunch of bad, like they're supplying the Russian war machine, etc. I need you to go in, and you're not going to survive this. I need you to go in and blow it up, right? I need you to go in, strap something to yourself, and go blow it up. That would have an impact, a measurable impact. Less oil goes to the war machine, meaning less tanks running over your buddies. Yeah, measurable impact. Off the cuff example. Oh, what should this guy have done to make his protest matter? I don't know if lighting yourself on fire can be made, in the way he did it, could be made to matter. However, I think that a lot of the protests around the world regarding this have mattered, right? It has shown, it has turned public opinion in a real way. As far as I know, no one during these other protests set themselves on fire. It takes hard work to organize an effective protest. It takes planning, it takes effort, it takes time. This didn't take any of that at all. It took I want to say courage. It's a weird form of courage, but fair, right? Yeah. See, this is the thing. It's not fun or exciting. Real change, usually, to affect real change, isn't usually fun and exciting. It's not like a video game, gang. It's not something you go in, you see immediate results right away. It doesn't take any effort, right? Like, you could just push some buttons and things like that if you just say the right thing, etc. No, this takes a lot of organizing, getting people to work with you. It takes dedication in years. Death is the easy way out. It just is. I don't know. Okay. Call-in times. Call-in times, kings and queens. Let's bring in our first caller. Hello, you're live.
Oh, hey, what's up? How's my volume?
You're I can hear you. I hope my audience can hear you as well.
You can hear me? So I decided just to jump in. I'm just gonna kick the hornet's nest
Oh,
and then run.
again? Oh, no, with something more
That's my
spicy
style.
than the fire take? Okay, go
It's
ahead.
not. I mean, it's not spicy. I think what you said just at the very end there. I'll start with that. All right, we'll start on a positive note. I think it is like there is a saying that it's like it's easy to die for something. It's hard to live for it, right? So like it is, it is a statement, absolutely, to light yourself on fire. I don't think anyone would deny that. But yeah, living for an ideal or for a goal or for a cause, like that's like a lifetime of work. And like as you said, like organizing and these things take time and like advocacy. Dying for something like being a martyr or whatever, however you want to frame it, like that is a statement, but at the same time, like yeah, I guess this leads into the negative part. I'm just gonna say it. I think this guy was mentally unwell. Um, I've heard it compared. There was a Russian journalist that lit herself on fire to protest in Russia. There was a dude in Vietnam, like these famous times in history where people have done this as a form of revolutionary protest. The big difference is that this guy, as far as I know, maybe he has some deep ties to Palestine. Like, I know he's a white guy, you can't assume. Maybe his family or something, he has some connection to that region. But in my mind, the fact that he has no perception of the direct oppression, like he did not experience that, he did not live it. So all of his information was gained elsewhere by third party. I don't know if it was on from TikToks. I don't know if he's obviously went down some weird rabbit hole and he thought this was the morally correct thing to do. But I would say that is like a massive difference. And which is why I would say that he was mentally unwell. He was not under these oppressive conditions. And the fact that he was a part of the US military, if he was in Palestine, what do you think would happen to him? So that's kind of my whole like basic spiel of like where I'm at. What do you think of that?
So, I understand. Look, yeah, it is a statement, as you say. And bringing awareness to an issue is important. But there's something weird about, we, at least on my feed, thousands of images of dead from Palestine, right? Dead and injured. Thousands, right? We've seen the horrors of war. It's laid bare. It's unmistakable. You can't not know what is happening over
So
there. You just can't. And so I think about like reasons to make such a big statement and reasons to like do something so large, right, in order to draw attention. And I'm wondering, why is this needed? Is him
Well,
burning himself going to be more impactful than
no,
pictures? I don't know.
it's a completely pointless gesture in my opinion. But to put it in a little bit of perspective, because I'm sure your Twitter feed looks maybe a hell of a lot different than mine. Like I don't have a bunch of, fucking blown up children and like dead people. But I am one of those people that like I take it upon myself to seek some of these things out. And it was one of my frustrations with the October 7th thing, how fast people were flipping. And I was like, I have seen the footage, and to hear people like advocate for something and not have that true understanding of it, I don't think people should necessarily traumatize themselves. You don't have to look through every image and like break your heart over and over. I think that's like traumatizing. It's probably not healthy to be in that mind. It's not, because I went down that rabbit hole. And yeah, when you see like these barbaric things on both sides, that does have an impact. So I don't think the average person, I think the average person probably sticks their head in the sand. They'll see those headlines. They'll say, "Oh, Rafah got bombed. Oh my God, so many children are dead. Oh my God, this like," but they're not looking at the footage, right? They're looking at the rubble. So that footage is out there, but I don't think it is like at the forefront.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
not, but like, have you seen the coverage, the news coverage of this guy? It's
oh, for this the Marine, or
yeah,
sorry, not
for
Marine,
the
Air
Air Force
Force.
guy, not a
Yeah, yeah,
Marine, right?
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Um,
Go on.
uh, basically, it was a 45-second. The coverage I've seen so far, right? And this is so far. This is new. Okay. 45-second puff piece. Um, just straight facts. They don't show the burning, right? Obviously. You don't see the horror of it or anything. You don't hear it. They just kind of report on it, and then they go right back into what they were reporting. It was a blip, right? A blip on a
Yeah,
radar.
and and this is a little bit flippant, all right? As I said, I was gonna kick the hornet's nest. I think one of the reason that the online left is having a hard time with this is because they're like, oh fuck, he's a white guy. Oh fuck, and he's in the military. He's part of like the U.S. Military industrial complex, and so their brains are broken because they don't know what to do with this information. So,
Well,
so
they're arguing. They're fighting with each other about it.
it's
They like
insane.
it. That's also
It,
on my
it's
feed. They're just fighting about how they should treat this
absolutely.
guy.
And there's like, should we call this guy a hero? Is this some like act of revolution? Is this guy just like? And the fact that that's the conversation, like, yeah, absolutely, like, hey, it's a conversation piece. We're talking about it right now. Like, I don't know how long this is going to be in the news cycle or how relevant it is, but yeah, like the response to it, and yeah, I have seen some of this on Twitter. It's unavoidable. Um, yeah, this back and forth of like, how should we kind of perceive what happened here? Um, I gave my own perception on this. I think it's insane that to like this form of protest in a region where you're not experiencing any of these things. I guess that could be maybe a separate issue, but yeah, the fact that I don't know, again, like there's people like are criticizing this guy for being white, or there was some phrase about rest in power, and it's like,
Yes.
is this the state of where your fucking brain is at? Like, this is what you're concerning yourself with. Like, if you want to have the conversation, then yeah, look into these things. But like, we're people are debating this in the peripheries, and like these useless, pointless fucking conversations that don't matter.
This
And
is a
that is
yeah.
truly frustrating.
This is a problem with social media discussions writ large in a lot of ways. We all fight about the trees, but the forest is right there, and there's very little times we talk about the forest. We're all just picking trees that we think support our stances and then just fighting on those trees, right? And it really becomes hard. You have to consume a lot of it to get a bigger picture, and you can, that's possible. But some people fall into that trap, and I've done so on occasion myself, where you start,
As a vibe,
yeah,
yeah.
where all you do is you lose track of what the point was you were trying to make because you're arguing about some minor detail on these things. And that I think the left is doing now, rather than discussing like the meta conversation about sacrifice, about Israel and Palestine, about how we should go about protesting, what makes an effective protest.
Yeah,
They're busy woke
people
scolding each other. And
people
yeah.
absolutely. And oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. um I was just gonna say, people use extremely emotional emotionally loaded language. Like when you bring up the word genocide, right? Or you bring up like X number of children dead, and I understand it's to evoke a certain emotion, but it goes so far beyond that. And yeah, as you said, when you start arguing semantics of words, and you're getting so down into, like, I get how people go down these rabbit holes and they start arguing these fucking meaningless points. And they think there's some meaning to that because they're like, oh, well, if I can get them on this one little thing, that's all people want, especially for Twitter. Twitter is just about mic drops, right? Twitter is just about the gotcha. It's not about, like, it's not a good form for discourse by any means. So the platform is almost set up in that way to create conflict, right? But having said that, there are, like, I'm sure we have, I know we have massive disagreements on the actual situation, but I think I give credit to anyone who is at least, like, is able to ground what they're saying. Like, you can feel the totally different way, but if you've looked into it and you just came to a different conclusion, like, we can have a conversation about that. But you can't do that if you're, again, yeah, if you're just this constant outrage bait, or you're just seeing these headlines, or you're just seeing, like, picking and choosing these things that kind of support you and running with it. Like, yeah, it's like discourse just feels like it's been ruined. And I'm not even saying, as you said, you've slipped up. I'm not above it. All right, I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
fucked
yeah.
up.
No one
I've
is.
said, yeah, nobody. This is a machine. All right, this is like
Yeah,
we're all cogs in it. But yeah, I don't know. Hashtag do better.
yeah. Astronaut farmer for $2. It ain't much, but it's honest work. I
Oh,
salute you.
I'll leave you be. I'm sure there's people that probably want to call in, but
I
there is
hope
one
they
thing
do.
I wanted to address.
Please.
Infallible foul. He said, I don't like glorifying it necessarily, but I don't like shaming it either. And the reason I thought my hot take was saying he's mentally ill. The reason I would fall more on the side of shaming it is because I can actually see the new TikTok trend, self-immolate for Palestine. Like, like where people's heads are. I don't know. I don't necessarily see that happening. I don't see people really,
Yeah, there's
really. I don't think he's gonna.
almost no chance of it becoming a
I don't think
widely
he's
thing.
leading the charge in that direction. But like, yeah, I don't think we should canonize something like this and hold it up with any sort of virtue. When I say shaming, I am more on the side of, like, this is not an effective strategy to meet your end political goals. And I mentioned the Russian reporter, and I shouldn't know the guy from Vietnam, but I don't know his name, so maybe
Mm.
I'm failing. But I think that this can be an effective form of protest because it is probably one of the strongest statements that you can possibly make. But I just put that in the context again of, I understand that if you are living under those conditions, or you have
I
loved
don't know
ones
if
where you're
I,
within that oppression yourself.
yeah.
That's for me. That's a distinction. Maybe that's a distinction without a difference. I don't know,
Okay.
but that's where I'm at.
Sure. Thank you for calling in. I'll just say
Hey,
this.
I appreciate it.
I
Yeah.
don't even know on, like, even in that situation, I don't know if it's like
Yeah, that's
I would think
it's
long
also
and
debatable.
hard, right?
Yeah,
Long and hard before saying anything like that. But
that's
Tessie,
fair.
always a pleasure. We're gonna
Yeah,
send you
take it easy. All right.
to the void. Ugh. Remy LeBeau says, dude is literally making fun of suicide. I'm not mocking the guy, right? I am mocking the people talking about him. Like, I am mocking the people who are arguing about the rest in power thing. I'm mocking the shit out of that. But no, I'm not mocking the guy. I feel incredibly sad that he did what he did, in fact. It's heartbreaking. And his family? You guys, I was in the military for a few years, okay? And during my 6 years in the military, I knew 7 people who I worked with. A couple were friends. The people I worked with who ended their lives. I don't under I don't know if you understand the impact that this has on the people around you, on their families especially. And seeing the wife of someone that you worked with bawl their eyes out, not knowing what they are going to do with anything or anyone anymore, right? Not understanding why the person did what they did, right? Incredibly sad. So, no, I'm not mocking this man. This man It's incredibly sad what he did, and I feel for his family. My heart goes out to his family. My heart goes out to his loved ones, right? The people who cared about him. And I'm sure he was cared about, like someone, right? But man, oh man, anyone trying to glorify this, I have a different take for you. If you're sitting there cheering this behavior on, I have a different take for you, okay? Boy, this is a heavy topic. Gang, look, my original plan was to come on today and talk about how Hassan Piker was right. And we were going to have a whole conversation about it. But I don't know. Maybe we have to talk about this more now. We have to talk about this more now. 𝕵𝖎𝖎𝖙𝖘𝖍𝖔𝖜 says, I think there's anger at the IDF failure, but Intel failures happen all the time. 9/11 biggest Intel failure. Cable says, I have a brother in a submarine right now. Wonder if he heard about it because he's in the Navy. No phones while they're underwater. I don't know how submarines work. I wasn't in the Navy. Maria says, 𝕉𝖃𝑠. Yes. But you don't spell no one spells my name right, gang. I love you guys. I love you all. But it's not a hard name to spell. WHICK. No, I get it though. It's okay. I'm only the mildest of mildly annoyed, and it's okay, right? So it's one of those things. Ah man. Give me a minute. Let me get into a better headspace here. Give me a minute, please. I don't like talking about this kind of thing because it does make me emotional. Again, it's something I've experienced directly. It's fraught. It's a hard topic. But that's the job, right? So we gotta talk about it. Lethal Sloth. Vic is right. It's not a hard name to spell. I get the joke. I get the joke. It's not our fault you spelled your own name weird. Fair. That's fair. Okay. Look. I used to play a text-based game, and it was like a role-playing game, and I wanted to role-play John Wick, right? From the movies. And I thought I was going to be a wizard, but like this badass, like double wand wizard, pew, 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 shooting people and things like that. And so I named myself Wick with an H. Not the most creative, not the most original, but it's where we're at, kings and queens, okay? And we ran with it. Can Kane says new mission to always spell Wick's name right. Starting now. Well, starting now. Starting today. Starting this moment. This second. Oh. I do think that this is the last thing I'll say on this. And we'll get to the other topic. So unless you guys call in and start talking about it again, probably the last thing I'll say on it. We gotta find better ways to impact the world than by removing ourselves from it. We have to. Oh, we got a caller. Let's bring him in. We had a caller. They just dipped out. Gang, okay, if you want to call in, here's how you do it. You click that Discord link. I'll put it again in YouTube chat and !point Discord in stream chat. Or Twitch chat, I should say. You click that link. You accept the rules. There'll be a emote of my face. You click on that. And then you can jump backstage. It'll be at the top of the Discord. And once you do that, I'll pull you in and we'll talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. It doesn't have to be anything that we've talked about so far, right? It could be literally anything that you want to discuss. ask me a question, if you have a problem with some of my takes from earlier, right? If you want to praise me, you may. No toss, nothing toss, right? But other than that, if you want to talk to me, that's how you do it. Let's yeah, it could be a Glay session if that's how you want to spend your time. I'm not against it. Let's talk about the other thing that I wanted to talk about today. I saw this over the weekend, and I was kind of shocked that so many people took this tack. When I say kinda, part of me was shocked, but part of me was like, yeah, this is kind of how this usually goes. Hassan made a tweet about how streaming was socially draining, that it was very hard, very difficult because it drained his social batteries. I'm paraphrasing here, right? We're not going to watch any Hassan shit on stream. That's gross. And look, I understand it. Hassan is a dumbass, right? His foreign policy takes are a literal trash fire. A literal trash fire, okay? I understand. I get it. We do not like Hassan's takes here. They are bad. But in this case, he was right. Hassan was correct. Hassan took an extremely ultra rare W, right? And a lot of people, because they hate Hassan, and I understand it, proceeded to run face first into a wall full of L's because they did not like this guy. Okay? It is wild to me that people don't understand how different jobs have different difficulties. And yes, there is a lot of things about streaming and being a streamer that are easy. I don't have to commute. I can literally roll out of bed, walk to my bedroom, fire up stream, and go. Okay? That's a thing that can happen. Okay? But being in the streamer space, being a public figure, being a public figure that has a following of any size, comes with a lot of drawbacks. There are pros, don't get me wrong. It's very rewarding. I love my job because no one tells me what to do and no one can tell me what to do except for the platforms, and they generally stay out of my business, okay? But damn gang, damn kings, right? I've been in the military, right? I've worked service jobs. I've worked in the food industry. I've worked in the entertainment industry. I've worked in manual labor. I've worked in the banking industry doing taxes and titles and things like that. I have never had a job where I have been swarmed and attacked constantly like I have this one. It's unique. Maybe if you're a famous TV star and things like that, you share these, or other like politicians probably share that same kind of thing, right? But it is unique to most jobs. The amount of trash that will get thrown at you. It never goes away either, right? Like, just because you're not streaming doesn't mean it's not happening. And if you want to be a successful streamer, right, especially when you're a little guy, right, like me, you have to be always looking, right, aware of what's going on around you, right? Now again, streaming is a very broad topic, okay, broad subject. When streaming, there's multiple sub jobs within streaming. Like, there's video game streamers, there's political streamers, there's video essayists, which aren't really streamers, right? There's people who get involved in drama, people who stay out of drama entirely. Like, there's so many different subsects here. It's really hard to talk about. But, like, damn, gang, like, it's not the hardest job in the world by any stretch. But to say that it's like something anyone could do and is super easy, and all you have to do is flick on your camera, and it just fundamentally misunderstands what it takes to be a streamer. It just does. at least a successful one. Like if you're a hobbyist, sure, but then that's not your job. That's your hobby, right? And sure, you could play video games with your friends all day long, right? It's a hobby. But if you want to be successful, it takes a little more. Usually, you can get ultra lucky, but most people don't. Okay, it takes a lot more than just turning on your camera and talking to people to be a successful streamer. Look, even a minor misscheduling can get you days of hate. Okay, as we have seen recently. Uh, it's not an easy job in that way. It is emotionally draining. It makes you feel lonely in a way other jobs don't. If I have a bad day at work when I was in the military, you know what I would do? I would go home and I would do anything else, right? Because my free time didn't really matter as long as I kept myself fit and able to fight. I'd go back in the military and I'd be fine, right, the next day, and I'd deal with it. But I had that escape. Here, it's very hard to get the escape, at least for me, because this place is my escape. I've turned my escape into my job. You could say, Wick, that was dumb of you. Fair enough. But it's true for a lot of us. I got some callers. Let's get some callers in here. If you got issues, right? If you got issues with anything I've said, call in. Let's go. Give us the drawbacks immediately. Did I not give you the drawbacks of streaming? Like, you are always on. It's something that you have to always. You're always like you're a public figure, and every downside that comes with being a public figure comes with streaming. You have to deal with the most prima donna kind of people all the time if you want to collab with anyone. Drama is almost unavoidable, even if you're not a drama streamer. Those are just off top of my head, top of the dome. Let's bring some people in. Hey, you're live.
Hey, how are you? Do you hear me?
Yes. What's up, brother?
Yeah, what's up? I mean, yeah, regarding the Hassan drama, I do agree that it's mentally draining. Um, but he's in full control of how much it is mentally draining. I would agree, like if he was someone who is in the process of trying to become successful, then yes, he would have to put a lot of effort and he would have to sacrifice, and that would require for him to be mentally drained. But at the stage that he is right now, he is already successful. He can have he can completely take control of how much his job is mentally draining, and that is proportional to how much money he makes. So if he chooses to make his job mentally draining, maybe it's because he's willing to take that sacrifice in order to make more money. And he should not blame anyone else but himself if that happens to him. If now he's mentally drained.
I mean, yes. Hassan. Look, Hassan is the worst advocate for this, the worst messenger for this. But 99% of streamers aren't at Hassan's level. A lot of us, right, are at the we're barely making it level. We're barely head above water level. And you have to just always be on for that. So, yes, I understand what you're saying about Hassan, how he himself individually could just probably turn it off and be okay with his millions of dollars and go do literally anything else. But the jobbers, if you will, I can't quit this in any like meaningful way that's different than someone else who's working a job they hate, a normal job they hate, can just quit theirs. Like you can, it's possible. You can get other jobs. I've done it before. Like I've quit jobs before and gotten other jobs, but it's not
But
fundamentally easier for someone who's making this their living to quit than it is for just a 9 to 5er to quit.
I didn't see his like the full video where he talked about this, but did he specifically say that this concerns him, or that it concerns anyone who wants to do this uh, career?
I would have to rewatch the clip. There was two things that went around. One was like a very short clip chimp, right? And then you had a larger one with more context to it. But in
Because
both of those, right? Even in the clip chimp version, it's still true. I think he was talking specifically about himself in the clip chimp version, but he was just giving voice to and a feeling that a lot of us feel, right? A lot of us have this experience with streaming where we're simply like, you are always, always, always the subject of attention for better or worse. And there are pros to that. It'd be silly to deny that there are benefits to being a streamer. It's very easy in many ways. But we got to also talk about how there's just some things about it a lot of people can't handle. Just
to
like
be fair, do you think?
I couldn't handle being a construction worker every day. It just wouldn't be for me. But there are a lot of people who love construction work, love being out, love doing that manual labor, who just couldn't handle the kind of spotlight, right, that streaming will put on you.
I think what Hassan is a smart person. So before he has said any of these things, he already planned it beforehand, and he knew that it's gonna irritate a lot of people. The moment he decided to say it, did he actually plan to make himself um, look at the victim or to make people compassionate towards um, like his situation and like the sacrifice he's making, or did he shift the focus from himself and put the focus on upcoming people who want to do this career? I don't think from the clips I've seen, it seems to be that he was focused um, on people on making people think about his sacrifices, not the sacrifices of people like you or people who want to put their life um, for this job.
Um, I mean, I can't read his mind, okay? Like I don't know, but I think he was just expressing his frustrations with his experiences. I don't know if he was doing that in order to put people on there. Now, when you say when he said this, and he's a smart guy, and so of course he must have planned out the impact he was expecting to have with his statements. That's just a fundamental misunderstanding of how this space works, I think, because I say a lot of things that I don't plan on impacting anything, but they do. Uh, a lot of people do that. I think that we are assigning too much post hoc rationalization to this. What probably happened, most likely happened, is he was venting. It got picked up. He saw an opportunity and he decided to go with it for virality. I mean, we're talking about him right now, after all. It was a smart play. Sometimes you take a controversial statement you say, and because people are going to talk about it no matter what you do, you just make sure that you are able to keep your name in it and kind of keep your version of events out there. I think that's a wise enough thing. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not willing to accept that he would like he that talking about this irritating of the subject, it's gonna just pass by and nothing will happen. I'm pretty sure he knew that he's gonna get some backlash. It's gonna be for his advantage. He's gonna get more viewers for this.
Yeah, it's possible. But anyway, man, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no problem.
We
Have
got
a
to
good
the end of
day.
the line, so we're gonna let you go. Ditto. Always a pleasure.
Have a good day. Take care.
What a nice caller. You guys ready for the next caller? Bring on the next caller. Hello, you're live.
Oh, what's up? What's up?
Oh, you know, living the dream. I haven't set myself on fire yet, so today's a good day. What you got for us?
Are you sure you live in the dream? Because you're streaming. That's pretty difficult, right?
Look, I stream so you don't have to. I take the hits so that you can have the entertainment. I give myself
Um,
eat of my body, drink of my blood. I am the sacrifice and the martyr, right? For you.
Thank you. I
Dear dream.
appreciate it. I don't know if I could ever handle pressing go live. It would just be way too much. Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, brother, you were live, you were on the air. What do you got for us? What do you want to talk about?
I'm pretty sure we're on the Hassan topic, so I'll just say pretty much overall his take is out of touch. I know it's probably a lot of people's take on that, but because like from what he actually said in the quote, he said, a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you in the same way that streaming absolutely will. Which that's just I don't know, that's maybe I'm crazy, but that's just not true. Like a real job won't also have you stressed as streaming, even if you are a big streamer. Like that's just I guess maybe we're all crazy, and he is right somehow, but it's just in the real world that's just not how it works.
So I've had a few jobs in my day. I'm an older
Okay.
gentleman. Some of those jobs were more draining than streaming, and some were less. Uh,
Uh-huh.
there are some jobs that my favorite job ever that I ever had was working at a movie theater. Okay, I would get to watch free movies. I would run the projector. Sometimes I'd be that greeter guy that take your tickets and tear your tickets,
Uh-huh.
right? It was like a fancy theater and stuff like that. And I'd be able to talk with the people as they were coming out and coming in. And I got um, my social needs met. It was just really fun. And yeah, that wasn't draining at all. I looked forward to going to work, right? I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, there were times where I didn't want to, like, oh man, I'm really tired. I'd rather be doing something else. But yeah, so when he says that streaming will drain you in ways that other jobs won't, kind of true, because there are certain like most jobs you're not in the spotlight. Like unless you're a politician, unless you're um famous for other reasons, like a movie star, things like that, you are not the content of your job. Like almost never. So it does come with unique ways to make it hard for you to just live. Now that's not to say it comes with benefits. Obviously, if I didn't want to do this, I wouldn't do it. But yeah, I think that it's not out of touch. I mean, maybe the framing of it as it's the most difficult job ever is, but I didn't get that from what he was saying. Do you disagree?
Um, a few things disagree with.
Please.
I'm not trying to say Hassan is saying streaming is the most difficult job in the entire world. I'm not trying to say that. But what he did say is, of course, the real job isn't as stressful as streaming or won't suck the soul out of you. But he's bringing that to like, it's an objective truth that it's like streaming will not be the same as a real job. And a real job that can be working in the movie theater, working as an accountant in the fields or like construction, politician, that goes for anything. So he kind of just, even if he meant something specific, he ropes in all the quote unquote real jobs that you do to go outside, and he's saying that isn't as hard. Um, yeah, he's saying that streaming is harder than that. Um, and I want to bring up, you said like most jobs aren't in the spotlight. You're not in the spotlight. Technically, you're not, but you still like play a role in that. Like even if you're just doing the movie theater work, yeah, you're not the highlight. The highlight is the movie, but without you, they don't have that experience. So it's like you're still like an integral piece to like how the movie theater works.
Certainly, but not nearly the same way
Yeah,
as
sure.
you
I'm
are.
not trying to say it's like if you're not there, everything crumbles, but it's like you still need certain people in place for like the wheels to turn.
No, I get you. I get what you're saying. But I just fundamentally disagree that like it's on the same level at all. I think that like if I mess up, if I messed up at my let's take the military, right? If I messed up
Okay.
at my job, you know what happens? I'll get shit on a little bit, and well, assuming I didn't kill anyone or break
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
right? Like assuming it wasn't that, um, in a day or two it's done. And no one talks about it anymore, except for once in a while they may make a jab at you, right? Like, but if you have a bad day streaming, that shit's recorded and it's clippable and it's forever. You will never live it down. It will be brought up
Hmm.
again and again and again. Look what happens to Destiny, or look at what happens to Hassan, even, right?
Yeah,
People are,
especially with this, yeah.
yeah, yeah. This is always there. I still remember a Hassan clip, and this was the grossest thing I think I've heard him say. um, about how it's like it does less harm for white college women to be raped or something in
Oh
college.
yeah, yeah.
Do you
That he's
remember
like, we
that?
should just
I
like, yeah, that was OD.
Yeah, that's forever. That's forever. Like, I messed up in the military a couple times. No one will ever hear about that. But my God, that will stay with him for the end of time. And I think that we just have to acknowledge. Like, I don't like ranking things from best to worst here. I don't think that like there different people will have different levels of difficulties on how they deal with different types of jobs. Some people will thrive in a more extroverted environment where there's service industry, etc. Some would hate that. And so it's really hard to like rank these things. What I'm pushing back against is the idea that streaming is just super easy and anyone can do it. It's just not true.
Yeah, if that's where you're coming from, then yeah, I agree. And
Awesome.
I don't disagree that streaming is hard. Like, um, I mean, I do streaming as a hobby. I stream to maybe like 10 people, and I have a little YouTube, but it's nothing crazy. But like, even like editing and streaming and stuff, I do get like the stress of like some like being the center of attention, like keeping up with chat and doing all this stuff. I'm not, of course, not to the level of even like you or Hassan, but it's like I understand where they're coming from. I'm not saying it's like just a nothing job. There's a lot that goes into it, but I will not say that I would rather be like doing a 9 to 5 than like doing streaming. And like I'm having such a hard time, and I
I
wish
get
I
you.
was. I wish I was at my business, just at the desk. I was like, oh, like nah, I'm not.
Look,
I don't ever think that, but yeah.
if I could combine the hours that I put in here and the no commute and the positive social interaction I get, if I can combine that with the reliability, um, I guess the routine, the what's the best way to phrase it? The cover that normal jobs provide you, right? The cover of not having
Sure, yeah.
to if I could combine the two, hell yeah, I would. But I can't. There's no realistic way that I have found. Maybe I'm just dumb, right? But there's no realistic way I've found to kind of combine these things. Like that's another thing about streaming, at least for me personally. If I have a bad month, that's a problem. Okay. Whereas if I'm
Okay, yeah.
working a 9 to 5, I have a guaranteed paycheck, right? I again, unless I get fired or do something really bad to get fired, I get X amount of money a month. I just get it, right? Whether I'm salaried or if I want more money, I work more hours, etc. That's not how this works. Like I can do a stream that's great, that's 6 hours long and make $20. Or I could do a stream that's an hour long and make $600, right? And both of these things have happened to me. So I don't like it's just so
Yeah, and
yeah.
that just goes with the type of work it is. I mean, that's just how it's just how it works. Like we kind of just deal with it. But that doesn't. I mean, that is a trade-off with being an online content creator or streaming. Like you could make no money, you can make a lot of money, but I still think the freedom and the flexibility of your schedule and what you can and can't do, that's like irreplaceable. Like that's what a lot of people would. I think a lot of people would like that. Just
Like I said, I
the
like this.
feeling that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I like this job because of that. That's why even with the bad things about this job, I like it because I can if there was nothing more frustrating to me, being in the military especially, is having a boss that was dumber than you and you had to do whatever dumb shit they
Yeah, there's
said.
nothing you could do. Yeah.
And there's literally nothing. I couldn't even quit in the military, right? Like this wasn't even an option. Um, so the fact that if everyone's being dumb around me, I could just tell them to screw off. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world, buddy. Thanks for calling in. I'll see you later. Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, that is the best part of streaming. Like if we're talking about the cons of streaming, we have to talk about the pros too. And the pro, the favorite, my favorite thing, literally, I'm not even being facetious here. Give me a second. Let me eat my food. My favorite thing is that you all could tell me I'm wrong. You all could tell me I'm stupid. You all could do whatever you want. But you have no impact on me that I don't let you. You have no impact on my content. I can do what I want. I don't have to listen to you. I don't have a boss. I am my boss. That is my favorite part. That I can just say, hey, you know what I want to talk about today? This. And you guys can yell and scream, right? Oh, you're having another feminism panel? Oh, no, we've already had a feminism panel. And I could just ignore you. And yeah, that's my favorite part. My favorite part. Audience capture, Wick. Yeah, audience capture does influence you, but I am immune, or not immune, but I have less impacted by audience capture than a lot of people. Now, there are some people who are who would say it would be unwise for me. That's not true. I take that back. I am reversed. What's the word? Where it doesn't. Most people are positively, not positively. Well, I'm trying to think of the right words here. Give me a second, please. Everyone is influenced by audience capture. Most people are influenced and they want to do what their audience tells them. Me, I am contrarian and I like to push against my audience. It still influences me, just in the opposite direction of how it normally does. Make sense? Yeah, PV enters the chat. PV has no. Yeah, PV doesn't pay me for my content. That's silly. Why would they? Let's bring on the next contestant. Hello, you're live.
What up, you beautiful bitch?
Okay, well, you're starting strong. You know, just I'm vibing. I'm moisturized. I'm happy, right? How are you?
Moisturized. Whoa, whoa. Moisturized. Whoa. I believe that's pause worthy, actually. You gotta say pause after you're talking about moisturizing.
Do I? No, I like to. I don't like pauses, right? I moisturize and then I go in immediately. There's no pauses, okay? None of that waiting around bullshit, okay? We get it and we
Well,
get it done. In, out, on with life, right?
I hope that you have that same energy when it's time to literally go scorched earth on the lolly enjoyers. I will be there. I will be cheering you on in the fucking stands.
Okay,
I'm talking
so
about scorched earth. I need you to literally destroy their fucking planet.
fair enough. Fair enough. Look, the problem with this is you don't want to self-immolate, right? Bringing back the first topic here. You don't want to
Okay.
self-immolate. You don't want to be so scorched earth that you scorch yourself. So I think that when it comes to the discussion, I'm going to let them set the tone. They're going
Okay,
to
that's
come in.
fair.
They're going to advocate for whatever they advocate for, right? And we will like there will be a difference with how I treat them if they are advocating for lolly itself or
Yeah.
just advocating for people who enjoy lolly. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that's fair. Yeah,
So
that's fair.
one, we're going to have, and for those of you who don't know, tomorrow we're going to be debating on LollyCon with some people. There will be a difference in how I treat them based on how they go about approaching me or approaching the topic. Again, I have a lot more sympathy for people who I still disagree with them, to be clear, but to see people who are trying to say, hey, we're too harsh to people who enjoy lolly, we're too harsh to those who have been found guilty of lolly crimes, etc. I have more sympathy for that than I do lolly's based and we should enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
But I
Okay.
mean, if that's the case, then they need to. My whole thing
Mm.
is that if that's the tone, then those same individuals can't turn around and go ham on someone for the same things, right? Like you have to keep the same energy. Don't be a
No
hypocrite.
one
If
keeps the same energy. We
I
all
know
like
they
to
don't, it's
think we're
frustrating. I know. I'm just pointing it out how hypocritical some of these individuals are. It's totally okay
yeah.
to literally, you know, cancel somebody else when they're not your friend, and then turn around and give your friend who's guilty of the exact same behavior, and in some cases, arguably even worse behavior, and give that individual a pass. So
No,
yeah, I understand it. It's just frustrating.
yeah, I don't know if you saw my conversation with Counterpoints and 𝕵𝖎𝖎, but I pushed
Oh
back on
yeah.
that, right? I think
Oh
that
yeah.
the treating one person one way and the other person the other way. Now the crimes aren't the same. To be fair to them, there are
Yeah.
differences here,
They
but
are different.
it
The
I,
spirit of it is still
yeah.
the same, though, doesn't it?
What
Doesn't it
Vosh,
feel like the spirit of it
yeah,
is the same?
yes, and what Vosh did was arguably worse. Arguably worse. Like again, I can see an
Yeah,
argument being made,
arguably.
but like there
Yeah.
is this in one instance, someone said one thing and got caught doing another. And there's hypocrisy with that. There's can we trust this person with that, etc. In the other situation, the person was just, oh yeah, no, actually, I am a PDF file and I am
Yeah.
XYZ and I do this.
Yeah.
And they may have been joking or whatever,
I don't give a shit.
but
I don't give a shit. Even if they're joking,
that's a
I don't have
problem.
friends who joke like that, Wick.
That's a
And I know
problem.
you don't either. Yeah, I don't have friends who make those sort of jokes, and I know you don't either. Most normal individuals who have friends, their friends aren't joking about doing that shit. I could be wrong. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you about like Hassan.
I'm here. You're here. Talk to me.
Okay, so I want to start off by prefacing that I don't want to discredit any streamer's lived experience as a streamer. I want to start off with that. I would never discredit Hassan's experience. I'm sure being a streamer has some level of difficulty to it. If it wasn't difficult and there wasn't any sort of like some sort of skill to it, then everyone could stream and be successful, but that's not the case, right? And
No.
to say that it's easy kind of takes away from
Yes,
what you do as a streamer,
it's
right?
not that though. I mean, there is that element to it. But it's just this, again, I think a lot of people shitting on Hassan's take just don't like Hassan. I think that's the real
Yeah,
reason.
there's definitely that aspect. Some people just hate Hassan.
Yeah.
It's not they're not actually listening to what he's saying because it's
Indeed.
Hassan saying.
Exactly. And like I said to the previous caller, he's the worst messenger for this because he is in a position because he has made millions of dollars, okay? Where he is in the position that he could just quit. But he is the rarest of rare streamers, and I think his overall point, right? The overall kind of idea that streaming is draining in a way that other jobs aren't does have some merit. That isn't to say that other jobs aren't draining. They just drain you in different ways. And I understand that again, like there are jobs that are like streaming or that have similarities with streaming, which drain you in the same way. I named them off before. A movie star, right, or an actor, or an actress, politicians. Anytime you're in a public figure, you have these things. Now, again, that doesn't make it harder than other jobs overall. It just makes it different, and it's
and like saying that streaming is not physically, emotionally, mentally, and socially draining is just being dishonest. It is. It is. Now, is it more draining than being a construction worker and sitting in the sun all day? Probably not. Not to the construction worker. Not to the construction worker, right? So it's all about an individual's perception based on where they are, right? Like a construction worker is going to think his job is more difficult than a streamer. And a streamer is going to look at that construction worker and probably be like, well, yeah, but could you stream? Could you do my job? Like your job is physical labor.
You ain't wrong.
You know what I mean? Like I was in the army also, go Army, be Air Force. There are aspects of the Army that I doubt certain, and you know this too. There are certain aspects about being in the military that I guarantee some individuals who are streamers would not be able to handle,
Absolutely.
without a doubt. However, I'm not going to discredit their lived experience as a streamer, right? I would just say keep the same energy. For some of these streamers, they're changing up their mantra. Like Asmund made a video and it was completely a 180 from his response to game developers like a month and a half.
No, you're correct. I think the real take here, okay, the real take is everyone thinks that they have the hardest job and the hardest experiences. Like deep down, they think that the love that they have is the greatest love. The loss that they feel is the greatest loss. The hardness of their job is the hardest job ever, right? Like this is the real take. It's everyone thinks that their experience is super unique and the worst or most extreme of all the experiences, and it's very hard for them to um, decouple an idea from their own experience in themselves. That's the real take here, and that's what's playing out. And so you have a bunch of people saying, well, actually, no, my job is harder than your job because I don't have to do your job and I don't really understand your job, so mine must be harder. And this is working both ways, right? Hassan has never had to be in the military. Hassan doesn't understand some of the, like, when we talk about not being able to quit, you can't quit the military. Like, literally, they will arrest you. Um, so it's got some unique difficulties. That is to say, though, like there are other jobs that are more draining than the military are in different aspects, right? Again, I never had to worry about where I was going to sleep when I was in the military. I never had to worry about my next meal in the military. I never had any of these concerns. Um, so yeah, it's just different. That's all. Did you die? Did your mic die? Brother? Brother, hello? Oh god, gang. Streaming so hard he couldn't even do it for a call-in. Oh man. His voice just dropped out. Wick is a veteran. Wick is a veteran. Wick makes streaming look easy. Do I? Do I make it look easy? I don't know if I do. Mando, buddy, you aren't coming through. So we're gonna let you go. Sorry, buddy. That's unfortunate. We were having a great conversation. Okay, we got a line. So let's get through the line, gang. Kings and queens. Hello, you're live.
Yeah. So I'm here to completely disagree with the guy that was here before, right?
Which one?
The one that was just here.
Okay, go ahead.
Like, I don't sympathize with the sentiment that streaming is like this hard job at all, and I don't think you do either.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, you cut out.
Yeah, my bad. I don't sympathize with the sentiment that streaming is this like hard, draining job, or even just draining in some special, unique way that it cannot be like handled. And I don't think that you believe that either.
So I'm gonna say I do think that there are aspects of streaming that are difficult and are hard. For specifically, being in the type of streaming, because there are different types of streaming where you're interacting with communities outside of your own as well as your own. I think that there is unique things at play that make it hard for certain types. Does that mean it's the hardest job ever? No. Does that mean it's the most draining thing ever? No. But we have to acknowledge that there are difficulties here, right?
Give me some examples of that then.
Sure. I'll give you one example. Well, let's just use me as a recent example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I had a minor scheduling error with food jobs where she had to wait 2 hours before coming on. Do you know how much hate I got for that for like 3 or 4 days of just unrelenting comments, unrelenting coverage, unrelenting people calling in to yell
Yes,
about it. That
because I was
never
there. I was
happened.
watching that.
Yeah, that never happened when I was in the military. If I had an error in the military, I would get maybe yelled at. Okay. Worst case, I would get reprimanded officially, but then it was over. That was
But would
it.
you then agree that it's a bit of a skill issue on the emotional management side?
Well, everything's a skill issue on the emotional management side. Every job is, right? Like even physical training, it's an emotion, it's a skill issue on the physical side as well because you can train your body up to not be as strained. So yes, true, but I don't think that's any different than any other job where you can manage these things. I think any job you have to be able to to manage the types of ways it drains you to order to interact with that job in a healthy manner. Like you have to have coping mechanisms, and I
Well,
think they're very
I
important.
don't entirely agree because streaming, you are a independent streamer, right? You get to pick and choose who you interact with. You get to pick and choose what you do. And if you think that like the food shop shit is stressing you out, you can just ban food shops forever from your streams and never talk about her again and just eliminate that from your life.
Not really. Like I can stop talking about it, but me stopping from talking about it doesn't stop it being talked about. And yes, I could remove myself from all the areas where people are talking about it, but that would it just wouldn't be a good, like it would be cutting off my nose to spite my face, right? It would just be a very bad move financially, a very bad move for my long-term growth, and it's simply just like, let's take Vosh in his Fortress arc. No one stopped shitting on Vosh because he went to Fortress mode. He may have heard about it less, but it was still out there, and he's not a dumb man. He must have known it was out there. He must have known it's still there. Look at the clips that people are bringing up from years and years and years ago that he will never get away from. Ever. Most jobs, if you mess up
Well,
in your
but
job even really badly, unless it
I
makes
would
the
argue,
news, no
I would argue
one
that
ever cares.
people like Vosh and Destiny have like this anti-fan community, right? That
Oh yeah.
you don't do. Like, they're not people lining up to hate Wick, right?
Not yet. Give me a few years, okay? Let me get big.
Sure.
Not yet.
But like
But
even
soon.
then, there are people that are controversial that don't really have to worry about these things because they moderate themselves, right?
Again, we gotta separate the types of streamers out. Like if the literally all you're doing as a streamer is playing video games and not talking about anything else, it's much easier than being a commentary streamer. That doesn't mean it doesn't still have its own issues that commentary or political streaming does, like that are unique to its own space, but it absolutely has um its own issues, right? Like in that you have to deal with. And I'm not a member of that community. Like I don't play video games on stream unless someone pays me an exorbitant amount of money. But yeah. Um it is what it
Yeah,
is.
but I guess even that is kind of like proof to my point, right? That people would rather 10 times they would rather tenfold earn less to do streaming as a job than they would to go out and get a generic job, right?
Again, like yeah, I think that the pros make up for the cons in streaming for me, right? But there are a lot of people I know who would never be streamers because the cons outweigh the pros to them, the way they measure it. Like a lot of people like reliability. A lot of people like having a boss. They may say they don't
Mhm.
like it, but they absolutely do. They like being told what to say, what to do, where to go, how to do it. They like that comfort that comes with that. And having to make your own content is very stressful for them. Okay? This is true for a lot of streamers. A lot of streamers are react streamers because making their own content is just too stressful for them. And that's why they can't really be original creators. They have to be a react streamer. Like, this is a thing that, for me, it's the opposite, right? Like, I couldn't handle being a React streamer. It would be too difficult for me because I can't sit through some other people's garbage takes for hours on a day without self-immolating, right? Like, I wouldn't be able to. So for me, being a React streamer is harder and more difficult than what I'm doing. But what I'm doing, for some, is much harder and more difficult for other people. That's just how this works, right?
Yeah, but that's like the beauty of content creation. People get to choose, right?
Yes and no. I mean, you have to do what works. Like, if all I did was video game streaming and I didn't talk to anyone, I wouldn't make any money. I'd literally have to do something else. So I do have to do what makes money to a certain degree. Like, I do have way more control than someone in the military has, for example, of what I do, but it's not entirely total control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes some sense. But then, with that argument, would you say that like people like Denims or people that have like this loyal and large fan base that provides them with a very well, it's not entirely consistent, right? Because these spaces are not consistent, but somewhat consistent. Would you say that this criticism then doesn't apply to them? Like they have no one to blame but themselves.
I think that I'll tell you guys right now. As soon as I start making millions at this, I'm just probably gonna be like, okay, I made my millions, I succeeded, I win, and the only way I'd still do it is just as kind of like, just because I enjoy talking to people, right? And I do enjoy talking to people, but like, yeah, that's why I said to the other streamer, and I'll say this to you, Hassan is the worst messenger for this message, right? Because he literally can just turn it off, right? He literally can just do anything else with his life. He's made how many millions of dollars? He's good, right? He won the game, basically. Yeah, I think that like that isn't the case for most streamers though, right? Even the people who are bigger than me, people like Chud, for example, makes probably more than I do, but he can't just quit. I mean, unless he has other sources of income, he can't just quit. Unless I'm severely underestimating how much he makes.
I mean, yeah, of course. Sure. I guess that's it. I agree with you on that.
Cool. Thanks for calling in, buddy. I'll see you later,
I'll go
buddy.
self-immolate now. Bye.
Bye. To the void. Nerd Angle says probably. Wick, he definitely does. He makes enough money to quit, and he'd be fine. Chud? No. He makes more than me. But if you think he's making that Assad money, I mean, again, unless he's got like secret donors I'm not aware of, he ain't making that Hassan money. What about the emotional drain of being in side chat and not being paid at all? Why are you in side chat? Like, this is what I don't understand, gang. Okay, I'll be real with you. If I wasn't a streamer, I wouldn't watch streamers. When I'm done for the day, I don't watch other streamers usually. Like, on occasion, right? On occasion. Why would I watch? If they're talking about me, I'm much more likely to watch because I'm a vain person. But yeah, I'm the same with sports, right? There are sports I enjoy playing. I really enjoyed playing soccer. I really enjoyed playing volleyball. I even liked football. But I didn't like watching them because it made me want to play. It's the same with like, this is why I never got into Critical Role and things like that, right? Where they play D&D live on stream and things like that, because I would watch and I'd be like, well, I want to play. I want to do it. I want to get involved. I don't want to sit on the sidelines and watch. It's not fun for me. Now, this is a me thing, though, right? Like, that's just, it's a peculiarity towards Wick. Okay? So fair enough. But yeah, I don't know. Nerd Angle, I probably have given him more this past month than you made last month. Man, giving people thousands of dollars? Heck yeah, I went in on that, Nerd Angle. Shit. I guarantee you you have not. But unless you're like a big dick donor, in which case, welcome to the show. I hope that you will consider throwing some of your weight my way. Really appreciate it. That would be nice. But yeah. Let's see. Let's go with the next caller. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. What's on your mind, brother?
Oh, sorry, did you pull me in? I was talking to somebody else in the backstage. My bad.
Did you want to go backstage? I can send you there.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry, John Wick. Is that John Wick? Oh, so it's nice.
That was weird. Just hanging out? Okay. Well, let him hang out. I didn't mean to interrupt their conversation. My bad. Gang, if you're backstage, okay, I'm going to assume that you won in the show. If you were backstage, I'm going to assume you won in the show. Bring on the next contestant. Hello, you're live.
Hello, Wick.
Hey, long time no see. What you been up to, buddy?
Been doing so much stuff for graduate school. I'm just totally swamped with stuff all the time.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your swamp schedule to come say hi to me. What you got for us today?
Yeah, I actually came on because I saw your announcement and you were talking about the self-immolation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because my colleague, when I was in lab today, I was about to leave, and he came up to me and he was telling me, "Oh, stuff happened in Washington, D.C. today, right?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I've been so busy lately. I just like have been disconnected from like world news and a lot of that stuff. So I just didn't even hear about the self-immolation. And I guess because you're somebody who's in the military, who's been in the military, I'm just curious, like, how effective do you feel like that kind of act is in the 21st century in terms of mobilizing some kind of political will? Because I just feel like the world is bigger than it's ever been. It's more complicated than it's ever been. People are busier probably than they've ever been on a microscopic level. And I just don't feel like it's that hard to imagine that like most people are as busy as me or maybe more busy if they have kids and stuff like that. And I just think like that event was very significant to that individual who was doing it. But I think for the majority of people, it just kind of goes like unnoticed. You know what I'm saying? Unless someone has someone in their life who's super attentive to that kind of stuff and is like paying attention to it. But like unless my colleague told me, I just like would not have known. And I also wonder like how effective is that in mobilizing any kind of political will? Like I don't know.
So, two things. The first thing is I think that people are talking about it as evidenced by the fact that you heard about it, right? Like you were disconnected from offline. So it has penetrated the online discourse, right? It has penetrated and succeeded on going offline in a real way. That
Well,
said,
hold on, but before you continue really quickly, the fact that that particular person told me, I don't think is indicative of anything because that person is very, very into politics, and if anyone is likely to know about that, it is that person. So he's highly skewed towards somebody who would be aware of that kind of stuff. But I had lunch with several people today. I talked to several people today. Nobody mentioned it except that one person.
the
And
second thing I
that
would
should
say,
be significant.
yeah, the second thing I would say, right, is that the discourse online regarding it is a bunch of people woke scolding each other whether or not to use the phrase rest in power in regards to him. So Take that for what that's worth. He did start a discussion. It's just probably not the discussion he had intended to start. I think that when it comes to advocacy, when it comes to affecting change, as I said earlier, and I'll repeat it again, this was the quote-unquote, and I don't mean to be flippant when I say this, because I mean it, and I no disrespect to this man. This was the easy way out. Real change takes labor. It takes a lot of labor. It takes time, energy, organizing, putting in hours and hours and hours and days and days and days of on the ground, online, all of it together, meshing it up to be the most effective it can be, and getting things done. It's a group effort. He did make a statement by what he did, but when it comes to efficacy, it's just not there. And I'm sad to say that. I'm sad he died. I'm sad he decided to end himself. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, voting's right there. I know it's hard to vote sometimes, and it's difficult, but I promise you it's easier than lighting yourself on fire. And it's more effective.
Yeah, I guess that's where I'm at with it. Yeah, like what you're saying, I think it's just there are other avenues that are infinitely more effective than like that, and I do think that that's like an easy way out. And I also think it's just incredibly tragic for this person's parents.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I just can't imagine like what they're going through, and what a spectacular way for your parents to figure that out about you. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know.
Man, I read a little bit, like, his parents said he was like the kindest, gentlest, silliest Air Force member, as one statement I read. But it it's a tragedy. It really is a tragedy. Again, I don't want to talk ill of the man, but I will talk ill of the people who are glorifying this, right? And there are
That
quite a
too,
few
that
people.
is really strange. I think that is
Mm.
so strange. It's a tragedy.
But there are people who are celebrating this guy, pedestaling him, saying he's a hero, a martyr, that he's the best of us, right? Like, all these things. And I get at a certain level, I understand the impetus to do that. Like, someone just died, lost, and you want to combat that loss with, like, overgrandizing. I don't know the word right. To making him out to be,
Aggrandizement.
yeah, aggrandizement. Thank you. But I think that, like, it's a really, really, really immoral thing to glorify self-harm like this. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's self-harm. The guy self-deleted. And to glorify that and to make that out as some sort of heroic gesture. Do I think it's likely to influence others? No. But the possibility is there, and it's worth considering. And I think that it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when people do that, because I've seen the impact of people who self-deleted and on their families, on their friends. Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Hard.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, yeah, that was all. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, especially because you actually come from a military
Yeah.
background, so maybe you could offer
I do
more
know
perspective about.
I do know my active duty friends who I talk to on occasion. They're just memeing on the guy nonstop. Um,
Mm,
it's a joke to them. I think that's crass and a little crude, but
yeah.
what else? Like, what? How else are you supposed to react in certain ways? Like, I don't know. Everyone deals
hmm
with it differently.
And they're joking on him because they feel like he's weak-willed, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're like, anything but take a PT test, right? Anything to get that waiver, right? Some of the jokes, right? Like, oh, he's
hmm
really going for that Firewall 5, which is it's an inside military joke and things like that. It's just this kind of, yeah, because he's weak-willed and ineffective according to them. So, yeah.
Mm. All right. Well, thanks for offering your insight.
No problem. I'll
Enjoy
peace
the
out,
day.
Girl Scout, and don't be a stranger, man. I hope you succeed in your studies and things like that. Bye.
Thank you.
What is going on, chat? What are you doing? 𝕻𝖎𝖙 says, you know what else leaves a bad taste in your mouth? Semen? I don't know. I've never tasted it. I'll take your word. What are we doing here? Parallax says, I think he's clearly not weak-willed. Yeah, no, clearly. It's just the will, that courage was misplaced. Can we say that? Can we agree on that? Hope so. Hope so. William of Orange says, yeah, Wick is a virgin because I've never tasted semen. Okay. Is that where we're going with this? Fair enough. Monsieur Ball says, what about, can I give advice on matters of the heart? I mean, I can. Whether it's good advice or not, it's going to be depending on the context, right? If you need to know, okay? If you need to know how to get the baddest of bitches, okay? I'm the guy to call. But if you're looking on how to find a stable, right? A stable woman, I'm not your guy, okay? I'm not your guy. I don't attract the stable ones. Only the crazies. Makes more fun. Bring in the next caller. Hello, you're live.
Oh, you scared me there. So,
Boo! Ha ha ha!
I was sitting. Hello, 'tis I, Captain Periwinkle or Perrywell.
Okay, hi. What you got for us?
I was wondering, how does one actually become a content creator?
You literally just create content. You go on there, you fire up your YouTube or your Twitch or whatever platform you like, you get OBS, you record it, and you post it. Then you are a quote-unquote content creator. Now, if your question is how to be a successful or one that
Yeah.
makes money or anything like that, we got some different answers for you.
Mm-hmm. How does one become successful
Sure,
and make some money?
You have to find something that is interesting about either the topic you're talking about or the way you talk about the topic. So you can either... So the best kind of streams, in my opinion, are interesting topics with interesting people who talk about it in interesting ways. That's a trifecta right there. But you don't need that to have some success at streaming. Take me, for example. Okay. You can have interesting topics and be successful, or you can have an interesting personality and be successful. If you can marry the two, that's great. But a lot of people can't. And even then, even if you have all three, even if you have all the ingredients in, you have to be able to market it. You have to be able to penetrate different audiences in order to get your name recognition out there so people know what you're doing. In order to do that, I can only speak for how I did it, as mid as I am, right? To be clear, I'm not a big creator by any means, but I went on people's shows and I consistently had a set schedule where I would put out my own content. So I would be guests on other people's programs, Prime Kai, for the most part, right?
Modern day debate could work.
Yeah. There's all sorts of different platforms out there that you can get involved with. But get involved with someone's community. Get involved with several communities.
I was even thinking... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, please.
I was even thinking possibly getting involved in like some of my local communities, because the type of content creation I want to do is science communication, specifically marine biology science communication. So I was thinking about making a like cool like semi-animated series. Have you ever heard of like PNG tubers?
No, but
Uh,
please.
it's kind of like, have you seen like Saberspark
No.
or like it's basically like what it's like a VTuber, but instead of it being like an actual like animated like model, it's just like different images that are edited to fit whatever the voice actor is saying. And I was thinking about applying that and doing some kind of like larger animated series with it, but not completely animated.
I get you.
And talking about different sea creatures and
Sure.
fun stuff.
Is there enough? So my initial question, and again, forgive me because I'm not a marine biologist, and I mean I like fish as much as the next guy, but it's not like
It's
a
okay.
big thing. What happens when you run out of content for that? Right? Is that
You
something
won't
that
run
can
out of
last?
content.
Oh, so there's enough that you could just do like a consistent once a week at
New
least
discoveries are
stream on
being
those?
made every day.
Oh,
There's
a lot of fish jokes out there. I get it. I mean, fair enough. Like, I guess that's true because again, this is my ignorance showing. I guess
yeah.
if you get granular enough about it, you can pick a sea creature each day and then have enough content for years. So I get that.
Yeah.
Lawson
But yeah.
Harrison for $5 says, "You're wrong, Wick. The easiest way is to show us your boobs. $50 and I'll show you mine, buddy." Okay. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. Another thing, because I know you were earlier on stream, you were talking with people about how easy it is to be like a content creator. And with science communication, you need to actually do like research. So like you can't pump out like videos daily. So I guess that would really be the only difference. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Only unless, okay, morally correct. But if you wanted, you doesn't have to be your research.
ChatGPT.
It's just saying. I'm just saying, right? Like there are tools out there. If you wanted to go that route, it's the easiest route, right? So there are
Yeah.
ways to get a quick fame, right? Pick a fight with a big creator and get them to pay attention to you. Okay?
It's like the octopus lady. I know she's like pretty left wing, so if I say like some inflammatory stuff in front of her and get her like focusing on my channel, I could grow my audience.
Yes. Or it doesn't have to be that because you don't want to just try for a single community. You want as many communities to hear about you as possible. So what I call the Sunday method, okay? What you do is you pick a different creator each week, month, right? And you just throw things at the wall, see what sticks. See what gets them coming at you. And then once you figure out that, two things will happen. One of two things will happen. Either A, you got a good formula that you can continuously branch out and use in different communities to kind of get them talking about you, which is what you want. Or what you'll do is you'll find a cash cow, for lack of a better term, and someone you can consistently fight with where people tune in just because they know there's drama involved in that.
So you're basically telling me to be like a destiny orbiter?
It is a route to success. It is not the only route to success. There are many routes to success.
Yes.
So some are quicker than others. Some are more likely than others, but
another idea another thing I wanted to talk about is, do you think capitalism is responsible for like climate change?
What do you mean?
I hear like leftists on the internet say that because capitalism requires constant economic growth, certain industries like logging or like fisheries, that those are resources that are not as easily sustainable as like, I don't know, like media. So they say that capitalism encourages over exploitation, and that would eventually be with fossil fuels because fossil fuels are cheap and easy for capitalism, but they're detrimental to the environment.
So my response to that would be in the form of question.
Mm-hmm.
Under any other economic system, would we have fundamentally different outcomes? I don't know if we would. I think even if we looked at Soviet Russia, for example,
Chernobyl.
were they more environmentally conscious than us in a significant way? I don't know. I don't know the answer. Right?
No, the only reason why Russia didn't damage as much as like America is because they just didn't have the means to. Their economy like wasn't as efficient as ours.
Yeah, I think that's when is capitalism responsible for climate change? Not in particular. I think that a lot of other systems would lead us to similar outcomes. I think that capitalism is in a unique position to fight climate change. We can incentivize behaviors that would lead to less carbon footprint, less pollution, less of these things, in a way that other economic systems can't. So, while absolutely capitalism contributed to climate change, I think it's also in a unique position to stop it. But, yeah. Anything
Well,
else?
wouldn't a social
Oh.
what would your other questions be for like that question responses be for capitalism being responsible for climate change?
I mean, depending on how the person answers, that's a good start. Another way to ask is like, capitalism in which country, right? Like, are we talking, and at what point, right? Like, capitalism is such a broad, nebulous thing, right? Like, capitalism at the end of the day is simply just basically profit motive. And again, I'm not an economist, so gang, this is just WhickTV's version of capitalism, okay? Like, there's probably a scientific definition that's out there that you can probably look at, probably be more accurate. But when I think of capitalism, I think it's the free exchange of goods and services for money, right? And also the profit incentive being used to drive economic conditions. But yeah, I could be wrong. Anyway, buddy, thank you for calling in. I hope you've decided. Have you decided on the route you're going to go? Are you going to be a little orbiter, or are you going to just try the old-fashioned pick a fight route? What do you think?
I think I'm going to network with local communities and different organizations to promote my content, and that would be a good starting point. And as I keep growing, it will be easier to grow.
Nothing succeeds like success. That is true. I'll see you later, buddy.
All right.
What a wholesome individual. What a wholesome caller. Okay? Why can't more of you be wholesome like that? Okay? Why are you a bunch of degenerates? Why? You little drama gremlin goblins. Okay? We need more wholesome fish enjoyers, apparently. Right? Wholesome isn't content. You say that in this sphere, that's true, but I know of huge YouTube channels, millions of subscribers, millions of views on their videos that are wholesome as fuck. Okay? Hey, multiculturalist James, welcome. Kanuko says, capitalism and socialism cannot exist without some of the opposite. No, they can, but like I do like a hybrid system myself, right? I think capitalism with socialist characteristics is probably the best way to go. Having guardrails on the powerful force that is the profit motive, to channel the raw power of incentives, I think is probably the best way forward. But, I'm not an economist, okay? I'm not an economist, okay? I'm not, so keep that in mind with my economy takes. We're actually having a debate on the economy that I'm hosting on Wednesday between Econoboy and Lactoid. And that'll be fun. And you guys should tune into that. I'll bring in the next caller. Hello, you're live.
That was good timing for me to zip it because I was ranting a little bit. Hi.
What were you ranting on? You were super low.
I got a new microphone, so I kind of have to talk into it. It's a podcast microphone, so I have to. It's like end address, all that stuff. Got to talk right into it.
Okay.
Hi. Couple of things. First of all, how did you list all 3 of those content creation ingredients, but you still don't do it? That's the first question I have.
What do you mean I don't do it? I pick fights all the time.
I meant do it well.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Because I have a soul, okay, and I'm not very good at just picking fights. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Parallax.
Well, get better at it. We've tried to, gently tell you. You need to like grab your nuts once in a while and just fucking tell someone, suck these fucking balls, okay?
No one
You
likes
just gotta,
it when
you
I
just
do
gotta.
that, though. No one
It's
likes
because
it. They say I'm smug.
Yeah, but listen to your tone of voice. That's why you sound like this most of the time. If every once in a while you just put your fucking cock on the table, you wouldn't have this problem, okay? Second of all, Hassan is in fact the worst messenger. I think you may have actually killed my criticism of that earlier when you said it. I think it's a bad message in general, because streaming does have its own fucking unique challenges and shit, but you can in fact turn it off and go get a normal job like most people, most of the time. Or at a minimum, you could be using streaming as a supplementary thing while you're hunting for like a normal job, right? And yeah, you may not want that life, but like if you're going to talk about the unique challenges of streaming, then you have to look at the unique challenges of like the day-to-day shit, right?
Yeah, and depending on the day-to-day, has different challenges. Someone
Yeah.
working in the service industry has different struggles than someone working in the construction industry, for example. And like, I don't like this argument for most streamers that they can just turn it off, right? Yes, and people who don't like the job that they're working 9 to 5 at can just quit. It's possible, at least if you live in a capitalist society, right? Where
Yeah,
you have
it's not
freedom
a
of
good move.
association and the right to work.
So we
etc.
agree then that Hassan's just being a pussy,
Well, Hassan's being Hassan, okay?
but a pussy, right?
Fair enough.
Come on, this is where you grab your nuts. Tell me Hassan's a pussy. Say it right now. Say Hassan is being a pussy.
I'm not going to do what you tell me just because you're telling me to.
Okay, hold on.
What I will do.
Don't say.
What I
Don't
will
say
say,
Hassan is being a pussy.
if you
Whatever you
will.
do, don't say it.
If you want to know my take on Hassan, this is my take on Hassan. No bullshit take. Okay.
Okay.
Hassan
cake.
is privileged and doesn't understand some basic facts about the world, and he, like a blind sow finding an acorn, stumbled into a good point here. Okay. He took a W. Let's be clear. A lot of people run him face first into L's because they don't like the guy, and rightly so, because not only is he privileged and ignorant, but he's also a garbage person due to his foreign policy takes, okay? And his treatment of those who are suffering that he doesn't like. I don't know if you've seen the clips of him laughing as a cop gets shot, right? Or laughing as bad things are happening to people he thinks are bad people, right? But that's not something a good person does. Now, he's not the only one that does this, but the fact that he normalizes this behavior to an extent, and again, combined with his literally dog shit foreign policy takes, means it's okay. It's okay to mock him a little bit. But even if
So
the
being a
messenger is
pussy,
a
got
bad
it.
messenger, Hassan still got it right here. Like, there are unique difficulties to streaming that do not exist in most other jobs that make it difficult in ways that most other jobs aren't. Now, it's easier in ways that most other jobs aren't too. There are good and bad aspects too. But we can't just say it's all good or all bad. We have to look at it holistically and judge it from that. So,
On the whole, would you say it's harder or easier than the military? On the whole,
on the whole,
holistically,
it's much easier than the military. Absolutely.
Okay. On the whole, would you say it's harder or easier than like most what you would consider like production jobs on like a production line or a warehouse or something like that?
Fuck. I've never done a warehouse job. I've done construction. I've
Right.
done service industry. I've
Okay,
done taxes and
construction. Do
titles.
things you've
I'll
done.
say it's
Construction.
I say it's harder. I'll say streaming is harder than my taxes and titles jobs. Absolutely.
Okay, good to know.
It was harder than my movie theater job too.
All right. Well, that job sounds really easy, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it was. It was super fun. Like, it was super fun too. But
All right. So
yeah.
the old parallax speed run continues. Next topic. This one's gonna be quick. Much like the flame, this guy's whole thing will blow over. Like it's just gonna, it's up in smoke. It's done. It's over with. Yeah, I think you touched on this earlier. It was a very ineffective way to deliver his message. Went out like a firecracker, too quick. It takes a lot of hard work to make an important change, and self-immolation is the speed run. You're not gonna get it done. You're not that guy. Sucks to suck, and I'll light one for him tonight if you know what I mean. And then finally,
Oh, we're not
how do
done.
you?
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, lastly, how do you feel now about your scheduling snafu now that 2 days later, Madam Shops has declared herself a lowercase p pedophile? Feel like we're rescheduling here, or are we done?
Karma works faster sometimes than it does other times. Look, I'll say this. She could have come on my show. She could have had an honest conversation, good faith conversation. She chose not to. She chose other venues. And that's fine. Her call.
How would you feel
But
about
man,
that?
oh man,
if-
it's really hard not to just be like, yeah, well, oh, you
How would
get
you
what
feel
get.
about it? Nair, she said lowercase, not me. Chill your shit. How would you feel if you had her on and you had this like really theoretically productive conversation, and then 48 hours later she was like, "Oh, and by the way, I still spank it to Lolly, and I'm a lowercase p pedophile." How would you have felt about that?
I would have yeah. I think that like this is why free speech is important, because you give people enough rope to do what they do. I don't know if I can say this on stream, right? Like, and I'm talking about this metaphorically to be clear, but they give them a shovel, and they'll dig themselves a hole. Let's say that, right? And
Well,
yeah,
you gave
in
her
this
a
case,
backhoe. God damn.
she was given some shovels and encouraged to dig an even deeper hole than she had. Again, I was willing to hear her out. And again, everyone was telling me, oh, these were just jokes. These were out of context. All these things. And that still may be true. But everything she's saying and doing makes it look otherwise. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
Portland is
I
Burning
just
says,
have a
yeah, my bad on
yeah.
that one, WhickTV. Yeah, a lot of people took L's on that one, but it's okay. I still love you.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone this morning, and this is where I'll leave you. I think that I think where the disagreement tends to lie with people is where they draw the line, like who's entitled to the right to defend themselves, right? So someone was telling me that she had the right to defend themselves, and I disagreed. I don't think she has that right. I think there are certain things you can do where, frankly, you've opened the door. People can talk about you, and if you get the opportunity to defend yourself, you should just shut the fuck up and be grateful. So, for example, I started with Jeffrey Dahmer. I was like if we were talking shit about Dahmer and he wanted to call in, would we let him? And they were like, well, no. And I was like, okay, so we just have a different fucking line, and mine is below pedophilia and yours isn't. You're fucking weird. So good job, Wick. This is a WhickW. The only WhickL is your dog shit baby back bitch take on birthday cake. Love you. Bye.
To be clear, I think everyone does have a right to defend themselves, even Jeffrey Dahmer. That said, I gave them the right to defend themselves, and they chose to go another route. They chose not to take it. And in that case, I don't feel bad. Oh well. Next caller. Hello.
Wick, what's up, buddy?
Hey, long time no see.
I know, I haven't talked to you in a long time.
Well, you are here now. Now's your time to shine, brother. What you got for us?
Well, Shine, I don't know. I'm probably going to bore your chat, but can you give me just a quick rundown of why people are mad at you? Like, this progressive and victory thing, like, I don't understand why...
Oh, are we going back? Are we going back
I know
in
we're
time
going back.
to progressive
No, because
victory?
I've been asking, like, people around, like, because when he was still streaming, I talked to him, all that good shit. But, like, and the people in that community, like, never gave me a clear reason why people are mad at you. I just, like, I liked you when I talked to you. I don't know why people are mad. Could you, like, explain why Steelman that shit?
Okay, the best criticism I had, okay, regarding progressive victory is that I did not disclose it as well as they would have liked or as often as they would have liked, thus, again, giving the impression, right, that I was a totally free agent, whereas had I disclosed it, audience could see potential influences on me that may or may not have been there, and be able to make a better decision about the takes I had and whether or not to watch me. That is, I think, in my opinion, the best faith kind of dark money influencing the space in ways that we can't see or measure or track could be a problem down the line. That is, I think, in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, if you got a better take on this, please. But that seems to be the best sort of criticism I got. Now, to be clear, that wasn't the reason, the real reason most of the people, not all, but most of the people were mad at me, okay? The real reason that people are mad at me is because I offended them at some point in the past, whether it be my Israel-Palestine takes, whether it be how I treated their streamer mommy or daddy, right? All these things. And they are mad, and so they will use anything that they think they can get a W on to needle me, and they're using that as a weapon against me. That is why most people came at me like they did, but it's okay. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. So, yeah, I'm still
Bible,
here.
baby. No, but like the thing that doesn't make sense to me is I have talked to you before, although it was a little bit ago, but I never found you to be particularly like who. First, like, for your theory to be right, a lot of people would have to hate you for some reason, which doesn't really make sense to me.
You haven't been around in a while, have you?
No, I haven't been around in a while.
Okay.
I mean, I hate you, but that's because of your crazy views, not because of, you know, like, oh, I don't like your take on Israel-Palestine. Whatever. I'm sure your view is wrong on that, unless you support Israel. But I don't know. The whole thing is confusing to me, and so like even you don't really understand. Besides, people just have some sort of animosity towards you, I guess.
No, again, like look, I understand why some people hate me because I called them out publicly, and I was very publicly mean to them. I can understand that. I get it. 𝕾𝖍𝖎, I called 𝕾𝖍𝖎 a rat fuck. I get why he doesn't like that. I guess why he would be mad at me. Vivian.
He didn't like you pointing out the fact that he fucks rats. I can see that.
Vivian, I banned her from my
no, Vivian
content.
is crazy. No. That okay, that doesn't
no,
matter.
I'm just saying these are why I understand these reasonable reasons not to like me, okay? I get it, right?
I don't think Vivian likes anyone.
I'm giving you reasons, okay? You can say they're good or bad reasons. You can say they're justified or not. I'm just saying
I agree.
reasonable.
I agree with that reason.
Yeah,
Vivian just hates everybody. Okay, that makes sense.
Other people are mad because Spicy Chat doesn't like me because I kind of banned a bunch of them back during the Lav drama, and I stopped interacting with them. So a lot of Spicy doesn't like me, right? Not all Spicy. Some Spicy still likes me. But most Spicy doesn't like me, right? There's a lot of people who just, for a lot of reasons, don't like me. I think, again, the biggest saying is I don't just go along to get along, right? And so a lot of people don't like that. When you can't control something, you kind of don't like it at all. And a lot of people have been very upset. Now, again, there are probably other reasons that I'm either unaware of or that I'm just forgetting right now that are valid reasons not to like Wick. Maybe you don't like my face. That's a valid reason not to like me. Maybe you don't like the sound of my voice. Maybe you think I have really bad takes on everything, and you just rather not watch me. Maybe you don't find me entertaining. Valid reason, okay? Valid.
No, I think I'm closest to the third reason.
Sure.
I still do listen to you. I just disagree with everything you say. No, but the thing is, okay, so the progressive in victory thing, like, let's say, like, this is kind of my view of it, is you pretty much genuinely hold progressive views, so who cares? Like, to me, it's like, who cares if they're paying you? Like, I know you're a wacko progressive, so it's like, okay, they're paying you for some shit. You're, like, it's not influencing your views. You genuinely hold these crazy views, so who cares? I don't know. That's my viewpoint of it, but I don't understand why people
I agree with you. Like, as I saw it, they approached me. They liked what I was saying.
Yeah, Toby's right, though. I'll shut up. Anyway,
and
love you.
They paid me to continue saying it. Oh, and you just left? Really? I was busy explaining, and you leave? Oh my, you're on my naughty. No, I'm kidding. Valid. I do tend to rant. I do tend to rant. But no, like, again, they saw what I was saying. They liked what I was saying. They paid me to say more of it. Or to keep saying it. To be able to say it and do show. Like, I'll give you an example, okay? My drama shows do thousands of views. Thousands of views. My politics shows, I'm lucky if it gets 1,000, okay? There is a huge financial incentive for me to always do drama. To do nothing but drama. To get those 4, 5, 6,000 view streams, right? To get hundreds and hundreds of dollars in donations, okay? Just by doing drama. But two things. I don't want to do that. I find it exhausting and boring, frankly. Sometimes it's fun, but only in moderation, only a little, right? If I was a full-time drama streamer, I might go protest in front of the Israeli embassy, if you know what I'm saying, okay? Right? If I had to do that, if I was just, that's all my channel was commentary all the time and just drama all the time and doing all that, again, I might go protest in front of the Israeli embassy. That might happen. But luckily, I'm able to get a little money and do some political content that I like. So, yeah, okay, gang. I think 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙. You just not like me, 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙? Please do commentary all the time. It's okay not to like me. You should call in, though. It is a call-in show, and we got time for one more. Mando didn't get to finish. Mando was on there for a lot. We had Mando on a long time. Quite a long time. But yeah, 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙, it is a call-in show if you want to call in. Tell me what you really feel. Look, we've had all friendly callers today. We could use an animosity caller, okay? It would be good for me, for my numbers, if I had an animosity caller. Someone to call in and scream at me for a little bit. You'd be doing me a favor, buddy. Okay. I think that's it. I think we're done for today. Tomorrow, gang, we are going to be talking to people who are very upset at me over the way I've treated the lolly enjoyers. Very upset. Okay. They are going to come in and debate me, and I'm going to be participating in this debate. I tried to get someone to moderate, but they fell through, so we're just all going to have to be on our best behaviors here tomorrow. But I will be joined by, well, actually, Tuna Chip just sent me a bunch of messages, so I'm hoping Tuna Chip can show, but I have a backup in case he can't. And that'll be Fairy Queen if he can't. And I guess there's a couple others that want to join in too, that if it's a 3v3. So I guess, let me rewind. I don't know if it's going to be a 2v2 or a 3v3. That depends on them. How many people they're willing to bring to the table. I want a 3v3. If it is a 3v3, I can get Fairy Queen, Tuna Chip, myself. If Tuna Chip can't make it, I'll get Malcolm on. If it's a 2v2, it'll be me and Tuna Chip. If Tuna Chip can't make it, I'll just bring Fairy Queen on. And that's how we'll do this. That'll be fun. That's tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, I'm going to be moderating a debate between 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙 and Lactoid on welfare. And also on, what's it called? Socialized economies. So that will be fun as well. Very high-minded and political. So a little bit of whiplash, gang. The second thing that'll be fun to do is Thursday, I'm going to be having a political debate on, are the GOP being infiltrated by Russian influence? And Rashad wanted me to host that. I'll host it. And we will see how that goes. That will be fun. Thanks for the clips, gang. It's always good to get clipped. I hope it's not out of context, but I'm sure it is. But I still love you. Anyway, who is streaming right now that we want to raid into? Is anyone streaming right now? LCTR fan? I don't know them. We can go to Prime Kai. You guys want to say hi to Prime Kai? Raid into Prime Kai. I wonder if he's doing it on YouTube too. I've been trying to raid more on YouTube. I usually forget. But let's see if I can send you guys over there as well. Give me one moment. Brittany Simon is still streaming. She raids me all the time. Let's so YouTube will go to Brittany Simon. Twitch will go to Prime Kai. That's where we're going. I love you all. Let you get a server invite? Hold on. Let me post that in the YouTube chat real quick. There you go. I'll see you guys later. I love you all. Except for you. I don't love you.